Hello everybody and welcome to lyranara.com and lyranara.me, the place where you can find the most advanced holistic diagnosis and therapy tools, as well as some of the most amazing natural supplements known to man. And today we have a very interesting subject again for you, and it's about life as an electrical phenomenon and galvanic therapy. And we're gonna explain to you everything there is to know about it, how you are an electrical being actually, what this means, and of course, as always, we're gonna apply this knowledge to help you remain healthy and become healthy again in a holistic, energetical way. So without further ado, let's get going. And I would like to kick this off by getting into the question and answering the question how you actually get sick. And because if we know how we get sick, we know how to heal. And the nervous system and the cardiovascular system are working as electrical entities actually. Thoughts and emotions are also electrical signals. Beliefs, habits, strong emotions are all stored in your limbic system, and these signals reach then the autonomic nervous system, which is also called the ANS for short, which is in control, the control tower literally of all of your inner organs. And within 3 to 4 months, the hormonal system is inducing the first changes in your biochemistry of your body, and in 3 to 4 years, organ functions become impaired, cellular physiological changes and chronic degenerations occur, and all homotoxins from the environment, food, your water, the air you breathe, the soil, as well as electrosmog, all of those factors disturb the cellular polarity and the cell communication by interfering with their own electrical signals. Psycho-emotional as well as epigenetic factors, together with all of those homotoxins, bring the body out of so-called homeostasis, which means that your auto-regulation capabilities do not work properly anymore, and the cells lose their polarity, and the membrane potential is reduced, and you become chronically sick. So diseases always start in your connective tissue milieu. And the mechanism of getting sick is always the same for all diseases. An electrical charge signal generated by the homotoxins disturb the cellular communication and the cellular energy production by destroying your cell's polarity. Healthy cells are always bipolar, with one positive and one negative charge. Bipolar cells support the energy flow through your body like a battery actually. Energy blockages occur as ancient medicines originating in China and India figured out thousands of years ago already, and only bipolar cells can be permeated by electrical signals and therefore transport energy and communicate with the other cells in your body. A membrane potential of minimum 70 millivolts or higher is a characteristic of a healthy, well-functioning cell that is generating enough ATP energy that is necessary to keep your body alive. And when cells become monopolar and are charged minus minus or plus plus, the energy cannot flow anymore, nutrients do not penetrate into the cells, and metabolic waste cannot be excreted. And those cells are getting more and more acidic, therefore toxic, and return to the fermentation state, which is an ancient process characteristic to the incipient of life on this planet. And you become sick. Endogenous homotoxins are produced and stored in your body, where metabolic internal waste products, for example, infections, inflammations, emotional as well as psychological toxins, byproducts of oxidative stress, etc., etc. Exogenous homotoxins, on the other hand, are ingested, inhaled, injected, or dermally absorbed into our body. Those are, for example, heavy metals, pesticides, fertilizers, VOCs, food additives, microbes, and many more. With this knowledge in mind, How you get healthy then? Well, there are some general steps for any efficient and successful holistic universal therapy, and those are: first, diseases are caused by inherited genetic factors only at an extent of maximum 2%. Thus, not much to do here on the genetic level. Diseases are also caused by epigenetic, psycho-emotional factors, and homotoxins impact to an extent of 98%. So these factors create the strongest electrical disturbances. Eliminating disturbances created by those homotoxins by changing your entire lifestyle and paying attention to a healthy nutrition is therefore crucial. So you also have to find a resolution to your psycho-emotional conflicts and relieve stress. You need to detoxify regularly, so eliminate existing homotoxins that are disturbing the electrical field. You must electrify your body to help restoring the bipolarity and the membrane potential, which means adjusting the cellular potential to the optimal value. You must train your body's autonomic nervous system, which regulates all of your inner organs, basic metabolism and functions. So you must optimize the autoregulative processes for the best homeostasis. You do not suppress symptoms using chemical drugs. You do not eliminate organs or organs parts as far as possible, as you will be always left with broken or altered circuits. You must treat your body as a holistic entity. Everything is interrelated through complex electrical circuits. Keep that in mind. Also, love, respect, and appreciation of the trillions of cells that are permanently doing great jobs to keep you healthy and alive. These emotional signals are very strong polarizing cells and support cell communication. Every disease can be healed from the inside by activating the self-healing forces and re-establishing the cellular bipolarity again. Let's go a little bit more in depth about the electrical body and how it functions. Actually, without electricity, you wouldn't be listening to what I have to say. You could not understand my language and the content I am disclosing in this presentation. It's not because your computer wouldn't work, it's because your brain wouldn't work. Everything we do is controlled and enabled by electrical signals that are running through our bodies. As we already know, everything is made up of atoms, and atoms are made up of electrical charged particles such as protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons have a positive charge, neutrons have a neutral charge, and electrons have a negative charge. When these charges are out of balance, an atom becomes either positively or negatively charged, and it morphs into an ionized particle. This flow of electrons that are negatively charged is what we call electricity. Since our bodies have trillions of atoms, we generate electricity all the time. When we talk about a nervous system also sending signals to the brain, or neuronal synapses firing, or the brain telling our hands to contract around a door handle, it is electricity carrying messages between point A and point B. It's a sort of a digital cable signal that delivers law and order, so to speak. In our bodies, the electrons aren't flowing along a wire. Instead, an electrical charge is jumping from one cell to the next until it reaches its destination. So electricity is key to survival, therefore. Electrical signals allow for a nearly instantaneous response to control messages. And those crucial signals tell our hearts to speed up when we are in danger, come from a mass of cells in our heart called the sinoatrial node, or SA node for short. This node is located in the right atrium, and it controls the rhythm of our heartbeat and the movement of blood from the heart to every other part of our body. It's our body's natural pacemaker, and it uses electrical signals to set the pace. But our pulse isn't the only thing that relies on electrical impulses generated by our cells. Almost all of our cells are capable of generating electricity, as we will see. So how does the heart work in detail according to this theory? The heart is a hollow muscular organ that pumps blood, as we all know, through the circulatory system by rhythmic contractions and dilations. The heart's pumping action depends on the rhythmic coordinated contraction of the ventricles and the proper functioning of the valves. Each mechanical heartbeat is triggered by an action potential which originates from a rhythmic natural pacemaker cell within your heart. And the impulse is then conducted rapidly through the organ in order to produce coordinated contractions. The action potential of a cardiac muscle starts from more negative resting membrane potential, which is about 19 millivolts, and it has a rapid depolarization phase due to the fast opening of the natural voltage gated channels. Then again, a partial repolarization due to the opening of the Cl channels and or some calcium channels. And the plateau phase, which is due to opening of slow calcium plus 2 channels, and the repolarization phase due to the opening of a calcium voltage gated channels. And finally, the fourth phase is the coming back to the resting membrane potential. But it's not only your heart that works based on electrical signals. Also the pancreas does the same. The cell has the power of maintaining itself alive given suitable surroundings, so suitable healthy matrix or connective tissue. For example, the pancreas consists of clusters of cells that are called islets of Langerhans. Most of the cells in an islet are insulin-secreting beta cells. Electrical impulses or action potentials are generated in bursts when the blood glucose level is in the stimulatory range. Insulin insufficiency, known as diabetes also, is a result of beta cell damage. Closing the adenosine triphosphate ATP-sensitive K+ channels, also called KATP, in response to glucose increases is generally considered the initial event that depolarizes the beta cells membranes and activates the voltage-dependent Ca2+ channels, which then triggers the release of insulin. However, glucose is unable to extract insulin if electrical activity and the accompanying Ca2+ influx are prevented. Thus, the beta cell electrical activity is a key element in the series of steps culminating in glucose-induced insulin secretion. What about your cells and the electrolyte cycle in your body? The starting point is simple. All cells in your body that aren't actively sending messages are slightly negatively charged. Negativity is the natural resting state of your cells, therefore. It's related to a slight imbalance between potassium and sodium ions inside and outside of your cells, and this imbalance sets the stage for your electrical capacity. Your cell membranes practice a trick often referred to as the sodium-potassium gate. It's a very complex mechanism, but the simple explanation of these gates is and how they generate electrical charges is this. At rest, your cells have more potassium ions inside than the sodium ions, and there are more sodium ions outside of your cell. Potassium ions are more electrical negative, so they carry negative charges, than sodium, so the inside of a cell has a slightly negative charge. Sodium ions are more electropositive, so they carry more positive charges, so this area immediately outside of the cell membrane is electrically positive. There isn't a strong enough charge difference to generate electricity in this resting state, though. When the body needs to send a message, therefore, from one point to the other, so cell communication, it opens the gate, so to speak. When the membrane gate opens, sodium and potassium ions move freely into and out of the cell. Negatively charged potassium ions leave the cell, attracted to the positivity outside of the membrane, and positively charged sodium ions enter it, moving toward the negative charge. The result is a switch in the concentration of the two types of ions and a rapid switch in charge. It's kind of like switching between a 1 and a 0. This flip between positive and negative generates an electrical impulse. This impulse triggers the gate on the next cell to open, creating another charge, and so on and so on. In this way, an electrical impulse moves from a nerve in your stub toe to the part of your brain that senses the pain. It's also how the SA node tells your heart muscles to contract, how your eyes tell your brain what they just saw, is the word brain in this case, and how you are comprehending this presentation and article at all. So since everything relies on these electrical signals, as we've seen, a breakdown in your body's electrical system is a real survival problem. When you get an electric shock, it interrupts the normal operation of the system, sort of like a power surge, and the electrical process doesn't work anymore. It's fried. There are also less dramatic problems like a SA node misfire, and this causes a heart palpitation, which is an extra heartbeat, or a lack of blood flow to the heart that upsets the pacemaker and causes other parts of the heart to start sending out impulses. If the heart is constantly being told to contract, it never gets in a full contraction state and it can't get enough blood to the rest of your body, leading to oxygen deprivation and a possible heart attack or stroke. So with so much electricity jumping around, it may seem like the body is a really great power source. A human body can only generate, though, between 10 and 100 millivolts at 0.1 to 0.5 milliamperes. So it's not that much. Human electrical energy is generated by biophysical and chemical processes in the nerve cells, and billions of nerve impulses travel throughout the human brain and your nervous system. A nerve impulse is an electric wave that passes from one end of the nerve cell to another. Neurons, the basic unit of the nervous system, are responsible for sending, receiving, and interpreting information from all parts of your body. Our body is a complex and carefully balanced superhighway of cells, tissues, and fluids that direct an unimaginable high number of electrical impulses every second. This is only possible due to a homeostatic environment where electricity is well conducted to carry the signals to their intended destinations. The key to maintaining this conductive superhighway lies within the electrolytes. Electrolytes regulate our nerves and muscle functions, as well as our body hydration, blood pH values, blood pressure, and the rebuilding of damaged tissues. There are various mechanisms in our body that keep the concentrations of different electrolytes under strict control. So you've seen in the title of the presentation already that we're going to talk about galvanic therapy, and the question is why? What is the connection between this electrical body that we've discussed so far and galvanic currents? Well, a galvanic current is generated only by a galvanic element like a battery. It must be in the range of 0.01 to 5 milliamperes and must continuously flow from negative poles towards the positive poles. Galvanic current is different from alternating current, such as the AC power grid, and different from vibrational currents, such as in TENS and zappers and interference currents, which are sending frequencies to tease the body. Galvanic currents are harmonizing and stimulating the metabolic process. They correct the cellular membrane potential, they are energizing, they are balancing, and they are not provoking. Galvanic currents are applied to the human body by using two electrodes with a negative and a positive charge pole. The positive ions are moving toward the negative electrode, which is the cathode, and the negative ions are moving towards the positive electrode, which is also called the anode. Within the body, there appears an instant movement of ions, which are moving through cellular membranes, and the effect of these movements are a detoxification, it heals wounds and repairs your tissue, it activates the autoregulative processes, it supports fire and wire of the neuronal synapses, it supports the blood and the cell building, It stimulates hormonal processes, it stimulates metabolic processes, it improves the capillary microcirculation, it harmonizes the body in general, balances your autonomous nervous system, your central nervous system, as well as cellular communication. It removes energy blockages, it optimizes your electrical body that we've discussed. It also regresses therefore inflammations, infections. It acts antimicrobially. For example, surgeon Professor Ferdinand Sauerbruch was able to operate free of any further complications and collateral infections by using subtle current galvanic therapy. It's also energizing and regenerating. So the question arises, are there any galvanic therapy devices available on the market today? And the good news is, yes, indeed, there are. General characteristic of a device for galvanic therapy should be that it is 24 volt, 0.1 milliamperes up to 0.5 maximum milliamperes. Only battery powered, no power grid connection, must have some functions such as therapy changing settings, 2 to 3 stable and safe jacks for each pole, many and diversified electrodes for different applications, an accurate display of current values, of course a solid and stable enclosure, and a simple battery charging procedure or battery changing procedure. The health indications for galvanic therapy are numerous. They are good for atherosclerosis, arthritis, asthma, eye disorders, spinal problems, incontinence, HBP, chronic fatigue, base dough, fibromyalgia, joint problems, open wounds and ulcers, immune system weaknesses, ischias disease, knee disorders, headaches and migraines, bone fractures, muscle cramps, circulatory issues, limb paralysis, pain, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, tinnitus, ligament inflammations, sleep disorders, shoulder and arm mobility problems, swindle, stress, depressions, trigeminus, neuralgia, muscular soreness and tensions, constipation, digestive disorders, Lyme disease, and many, many more. Cosmetic applications are also extraordinarily beneficial and loved, and this can be hair therapy, wrinkle ironing out, cellulitis therapy, depigmentation of liver spots, acne, and many, many more. And we here, Lyra Nara, have tested and looked through all the galvanic therapy devices available on the market today, and we highly recommend Vegetbalance. Vegetbalance is an efficient, versatile, simple to operate galvanic therapy device for home use. It has a high quality, being produced 100% in Germany, and you can get it now exclusively at Lyra Nara. Galvanic therapy at home, some general facts and recommendations here. So galvanic current flows always from the red electrode towards the black electrode, usually from top towards the bottom and from left towards the right side of your body. In very specific therapy cases, this flow can also be inversed with this device. Electrodes must be slightly wetted with warm water to assure the best conductivity and to buffer the skin dryness. Galvanic therapy can be done in sitting, standing, or lie down position. It is recommended to repeat the therapy 2 to 3 times daily, each time for about 10 to 20 minutes, with an intensity current of 0.1 to 0.5 milliamperes. It's also best to divert the galvanic current at the feet. For persons with varicose veins, it is recommended to do it through the tailbone. In pain therapy, the painful area gets the red electrode as it is calming, and the feet or tailbone get the black electrode. Switching on and off the device must be done slowly during 10 seconds. For infections, galvanic therapy is recommended together with homeopathic D12 ferrum phosphoricum to activate the blood. Galvanic therapy is also to be done until the complaints and symptoms disappear completely, so don't interrupt it before that. Even if you already feel better, keep going until they disappear completely. It is also not recommended to treat acute cases with galvanic therapy when there are also many implants and pacemakers. It's not recommended as well. Start also your galvanic therapy always with a general therapy to stimulate, harmonize and regulate your whole body. There are many options for this, so you can put the forehead electrode and the tailbone electrode, the -1 on the tailbone. You can also put the net electrode, the positive one and the negative one to the foot, the positive electrode to the left hand and the negative one to your right hand, the positive one to the left hand and the negative one to the left foot, both hands with a positive one and a negative one to your feet, or a left foot positive one and a right foot negative one. And some more advice before you start any galvanic Vegetbalance therapy for your specific complaints. We recommend that you prepare your body for a galvanic therapy in general. And you can follow this very simple procedure, which is working for your whole body with great benefits. So in week 1, you take care of the general condition of your body. So daily, 20 minutes, you take the red electrode, which is the +1 as we've mentioned, in your left hand, and the blue one, the -1, onto your left foot, and use 0.1 to 0.2 milliamperes. In week 2, you do the general activation and detoxification as well as consolidation and energizing procedure. So again, daily for 20 minutes, take the red electrode in your right hand and the blue one, put it to your right foot and use 0 milliamperes. In the 3rd week, you do the regulating, the energizing and the regeneration. Again, 20 minutes daily, the red electrode in your right hand and the blue one to your right foot using 0.02 to 0.04 milliamperes. In week 4, we take care of basic auto-regulation. Again, 20 minutes, the red electrode in your left hand and the blue one in your right hand with 0.1 to 0.2 milliamperes. Week 5 is for stimulation and activation, 20 minutes, the red electrode in your left hand and the blue one in your right hand using 0.3 to 0.4 milliamperes. And in the 6th week, we take care of blockages resolution as well as energizing your whole body. The red electrode again daily for 20 minutes in your left hand and the blue one in your right hand, and you use 0.3 to 0.4 milliamperes. And in the evening, you change to 0.03 to 0.05 milliamperes. So what are the therapy indications for this amazing galvanic system called Vegetbalance that you can get exclusively again at lyranara.com? Angina pectoris as well as arteriosclerosis. Here we have some data by Dr. Holzer that reports that in his clinic 80% of angina pectoris patients were completely healed and the remaining 20% got significantly better by using galvanic therapy. Galvanic currents dilate blood vessels, they chelate arterial plaque, they regulate the nerves activity, and the red electrode for arteriosclerosis as well as angina pectoris comes onto your heart area, and the black electrode exactly on the corresponding back area. 3 to 7 minutes daily with 0.1 to 0.2 milliamperes 2 times weekly added to the general galvanic therapy will do you wonders. Arteriosclerosis is a result of permanent stress in your daily life and toxification through overeating, especially of bad food, and overdrinking, especially of sweet beverages and alcohol. And every human suffers today of arterial plaque as well as coronary vessel obstructions So to assure a good functionality of the cardiovascular as well as the cerebrovascular system, we recommend Vegetbalance galvanic therapy along with a regular intake of this wonderful miracle drug, naturally miracle drug called Strophanthin or Overbain. And you can find the presentation only on Strophanthin on our channel, of course, and you can get it exclusively at lyra.nara.me. I'm going to post a link to the Vegetbalance therapy system as well as Strophanthin in the description box below. You can also treat arthrosis for your shoulder or your knee. It's not only a pain therapy, but also a cure for arthrosis and rheumatism in general in your joints that has been caused by acidosis as well as insulin resistance. So for example, for shoulder arthrosis, you put a bent electrode, which is a red one, around the painful area, and you can also add a hand electrode, and the foot or the feet get the minus electrode. And you start the galvanic therapy daily with 0.4 to 0.5 milliamperes and include twice a week the general galvanic therapy that we talked about. For knee arthrosis, there are two schemes that are possible. First one is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The use of one electrode on a painful inside or outside of the knee and the black electrode on the opposite side. You treat it daily for 15 to 20 minutes for each knee with 0.2 to 0.3 milliamperes, and they alternate the electrodes polarity. Tuesday and Thursday you make a hand-to-hand therapy with the red electrode in the left hand and a black electrode in the right hand to remove acidic residues. And second and third week you repeat the therapy and slightly increase the current intensity to 0.4 to 0.5 milliamperes. The second option is that you wrap one bent electrode, which is the positive one, above the knee joint and another bent electrode, which is a negative one, below the knee, and you treat daily 30 minutes with 0.5 milliamperes. And each knee must be treated individually. But this is of course not all that you can treat with the amazing Vegetbalance therapy system. There is much more, including asthma, for example. You use the large surface electrode with the plus pole across the chest and a similar electrode with the minus pole across the back. You start a therapy daily for 5 minutes with 0.1 milliamps and slowly increase to 0.2 milliamps over 10 minutes. You do this 3 times weekly and include one general therapy for the neck spine with the plus electrode on the neck spine and a minus one to the tailbone. Diabetes is also greatly treatable with this system. For diabetes 2 patients, the cellular membranes are fully rigid due to acidosis in the whole body, according to Professor Dr. Wendt. And an acidosis concomitant with pancreas therapy is therefore recommended and always brings release. Do not schedule, however, this therapy in the evening. It may come to hypoglycemia during the night. If you do so, best is to have the therapy latest at 4 p.m. to be able to observe and correct the insulin production. You use the large size minus electrode on the stomach and the other one, the plus one, on the back, and you alternate the plus and minus location. You treat with 0.5 milliamps 3 times per week, and you also should include a general therapy once per week. You can also treat exhaustion with this system. This therapy must be with galvanic currents flowing from the bottom to the top. For example, the feet get the plus electrode and the neck or forehead the minus one. The time knob is rotated towards the minus sign and you perform this therapy for 20 minutes with 0.5 milliamps. Also great with the system, you can treat your gallbladder. You place the large sized electrode, the plus one, underneath the right rib case and the minus one opposite on the back side above your tailbone, and you treat for 15 minutes with 0.4 milliamps. It's also great for facial and trigeminous neuralgia. the red electrode, which is the +1, is placed on a painful area, and the -1 is for flushing out the current, and you place it on the neck. You do it daily, this therapy, with 0.2 milliamps. But wait, there is more. You can also treat infectious diseases, for example. For example, cold, flu, throat soreness, coughing. You use the plus electrode on the chest and the other electrode on the opposite side of your back. You use the general therapy program. You also should take ferrum phosphoricum D12, 10 pellets during the therapy to enhance the immune system. Therapies must be performed at 0.3 milliamps for 13 minutes in the morning and the evening. This therapy can be used also after surgeries or on infected wounds with the positive electrode close to the infection foci and the black, the -1, on the opposite side. The system also works for paralysis, left or the right arm due to a stroke. Only 4 weeks after a stroke, you can start working on the paralyzed limbs. The affected arm receives a stimulative black electrode and the hand receives the plus electrode. You treat it daily for 10 minutes with 0.2 milliamps and 10 minutes several times per day. For paralyzed legs, each foot is introduced in one bowl with water. For left leg paralysis, in the bowl left-sided, you add a black electrode, a -1, and the right-sided bowl gets the plus electrode. For right leg paralysis, in the bowl right side, you add a black, the -1, and in the left-sided bowl, the +1. In both cases, you treat with 0.3 to 0.5 milliamps for 15 to 20 minutes several times per day. You can also get rid of your tinnitus. Daily, take 2 ear electrodes. The red one you place on the ears and the -1 on the neck, 10 minutes with 0.2 milliamps. It's also great against rheuma and gout. Large sized electrode, the red one, is placed on a painful area, and the purge of the pain is directed through the black electrode that is placed in the right hand or through feet electrodes. Therapy time is 15 to 20 minutes with 0.5 milliamps. Like the gout, rheumatism is caused by acidosis due to wrong nutrition mainly. In gout, crystals of uric acid are penetrating the joints and trigger pain. Therefore, we recommend to change the nutrition first and foremost, to take baking soda, and especially to alternate pain therapy of the affected areas with an anti-acidosis therapy. Acidosis can also be treated daily, here 20 minutes with 0.5 milliamps. Hand or foot with the pain is receiving the large size red electrode, and the purge is done through another blue electrode located higher than the painful area. And some more diseases that have shown themselves to be greatly treatable with the Vegetbalance system. Adipositas, daily general Vegetbalance therapy and change in your nutrition again is great for activating your metabolism and regulating it. The homotoxins from the fatty tissue are thereby mobilized and the cellulitis is slowly disappearing. For cosmetic use, it's also great. One of the most used and appreciated procedures in facial cosmetology is galvanic therapy. You can iron out wrinkles, you can soften scars and aging spots, you can cleanse pores and improve your general skin quality. And last but not least, cancer. Cancerous cells have only 10% of the resistivity of healthy cells. Cancer cells measure 250 ohms compared with 2,500 ohms for healthy cells. Therefore, galvanic therapy is indicated to treat cancer cells selectively without damaging your healthy cells. Today, in Russia and China, Electric cancer therapy has been officially accepted and implemented in clinics and hospitals, and thousands of doctors are treating their patients successfully with this method. Germany and Switzerland also accepted ECT, but it is not yet paid by insurances. In North America, unfortunately, it is not yet included in the standard care procedure. The principles applied to cancer galvanic therapy are the same as for all of the other diseases described here. The fine-tuning comes from the precision and accuracy of the galvanic therapy machines and the kind of electrodes used, as well as the therapy parameters. And that's why we recommend the Vegetbalance system, because it brings you the necessary precision and accuracy and great electrodes to have a successful treatment. Also, to be successful in cancer remission, it is absolutely necessary to change your nutrition again, to detoxify your body and clear the milieu of acidosis and the redox potential. Without this triumvirate, no cancer therapy works. And in our next video, just to give you a little taste, we will discuss more about electrocancer therapy. So let's recap what we have learned here. First and foremost, the universe, as well as all living beings and your human body, are electrically charged. Healthy cells are bipolar, while sick cells are nonpolar. Second, life is a primordial electrical phenomenon with an electrical current flowing across the body from positive poles towards the negative ones. From the left hand, for example, to the right hand, and from the top, from your brain to the bottom, to your feet. A battery or galvanic element well charged when healthy. We learned also already that sickness is triggered by psycho-emotional stressors as well as environmental homotoxins, which disturb the trillions of well-functioning electrical circuits. Toxins also modify the cellular membrane potential and change the cellular dipole, which is plus minus, into a non-polarized cell, which becomes minus minus or plus plus. And these non-polarized cells consume up to 800 times more ATP energy, thereby exhausting the body of life power. Although sick cells are always in a minority of 5% compared to the 95% of healthy cells that you normally have in your body. You lose energy, and without this nothing works. You slowly walk therefore towards death. Fourth, logical pathway to heal all diseases implies the replenishing of life energy, the repolarization of your cells, an increase in the membrane potential to enable metabolite exchange, re-establishing thereby cellular communication and the electrical flow through your body. The electrical flow in the body is a galvanic current, as we've learned, like in a battery, and a continuous current known today as DC. This cannot be and should not be confused with alternating currents from power grids like AC or interference currents, TANs, or vibrational pulsating energy. Galvanic current also flows across the body, penetrates all of your cells, opens up cellular membranes, supports cellular repolarization, and it is very subtle, only 20 to 100 millivolts and 0.01 to 0.5 milliamps. Galvanic therapy is universally applicable and always beneficial for all kind of health conditions, whether they are acute or chronic or even serious degenerative illnesses such as cancer, MS, Alzheimer's, rheumatism, infections. You can literally set no treatment limits with this system. Galvanic therapy is also easy, it's comfortable, and can be done risk-free and without side effects at home, or in more serious cases, of course, we recommend that you consult with your practitioner and visit clinics that use this. Vegetbalance system is a home therapy device of very high quality and accuracy, and you also get a wonderful selection of electrodes, which is very important for such a treatment. You can use the Vegetbalance system to treat all conditions, to harmonize and energize your body, to relieve pain, to reduce infections, tumors, inflammations, and much, much more, as we have seen. And in a future video, we will go into detail and describe how you can heal cancer, Alzheimer, MS, and many more such illnesses with Vegetbalance. Also, just as a side note, the similarity between DMSO, which by the way you can also get in the highest purity pharmaceutical grade, 99.995% exclusively at lyra.me. The therapeutic effects of DMSO and of galvanic therapy, the similarities are very striking in my mind. I strongly believe that DMSO is high polarity is making similar corrections to the sick cells as galvanic currents do. So, to sum it up, galvanic therapy is simple, it's efficient, it's universal, and therefore it means it is the truth. And if you have further questions or comments, please call us. As always, we love to talk to you. 1-888-773-3196 or contact us at shop@lyranara.com. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. If so, please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, stay healthy.